Hey everybody, welcome to Ala's World of Finance. In this quick video, we're going to be talking about BlackBerry stock, and I'm going to be giving the reasons why I'm investing in BlackBerry right now in May 2017. So some of the things that we're going to cover is their numbers, a summary of what they're doing, some of their successes and what's going on with their stock, and some of the things to look forward to in the future and in their next earnings call, and see if we can predict what's going to happen a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started here. Now, when looking at their numbers, their ticker symbol is BBRY. They have a market cap of $5.11 billion. Their previous 4 quarters, they have met and exceeded analyst expectations for earnings per share, so they're doing very well, and it's one of the reasons why their stock has been going up, because every time they seem to report something, it just seems to always be good news lately, and I'm going to get into that. So their 52-week high is at $10.41. Last time I checked, their stock price was at $10.41. So it looks like they just now met their 52-week high. I actually invested in BlackBerry when it was at around $9.50. So I'm already making some profit, but I'll be holding on to it. Even if the stock goes down a little bit, I'll still be holding on to it. And by the time that you look at this video, the stock price may be different because I recorded this just a little bit early. But you'll have to take a look and see where it's at. Their 52-week low was at $6.23, so you can see that their stock has been going up very well. And when you look at a summary of what BlackBerry is doing, they develop hardware and software for solutions for mobile communications. Since March, their stock has gone up 35%, and I wish I would have invested back then. I think when I was first kind of analyzing BlackBerry and looking deeper into it, I think they were around $7 around there. And my friend told me that his grandmother was investing in it, and his grandmother, I don't want to make a huge story, but his grandmother, she'll invest like $100,000 at a time. She'll just invest like huge amounts of money, and I don't have anywhere near that that amount of money, so I can't be doing that. But I wish I would have invested in BlackBerry back then, because I remember thinking, oh man, if she's investing in it, I should look closer into it. And I didn't invest in it, I waited, but now I do have some shares in it, and I'm hoping that it'll keep going up, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, some of the things that BlackBerry is doing and where they're having a lot of success is that, BlackBerry used to be a mostly hardware company, but they're transitioning to a mostly software company, and it's been going very well for them. In fact, analysts are now predicting that their growth in the upcoming years is going to be increasing a lot. So analysts, more and more, every time I check what analysts are saying, they're more and more bullish every time I check it, and more are converting to bullish. And yeah, and it seems like analysts who used to be bearish, it seems like that's decreasing every time I check. But so where they're having a lot of success is they're developing security software for the enterprise of things market, which is a growing market. So they're doing very well there. And the India market is a growing market on its own, but they have a growing stake in that market as well. And they're really targeting enterprise customers, and they're licensing a lot of their software and products. So they're doing very well in India. And a lot of analysts are predicting that the revenue from India should be getting close to around $350 million. So it's looking like they're going to be making a lot of money from India, and that's going to just keep growing, and that should be a very bright future for what they're trying to do in India. Now, they're also diving into the automotive sector, and they basically have this long-term partnership with Ford. And what they're doing is BlackBerry acquired this other company that was called QNX, and they basically power Ford's infotainment system. And this was kind of crazy when I read this, but they basically power this infotainment system that is used by Ford, and it's used in 60 million other cars that are from other car makers. That's huge, guys. So it looks like they're doing very well there. And some of the reports that I've been reading is that BlackBerry is really setting themselves up for the self-driving future. They're getting themselves in a great position to be partnering up with Ford and doing some great stuff with Ford as Ford transitions into the self-driving technology. And we all know that that's really the future. So BlackBerry is really positioning themselves to have a big stake in that. And if they do it correctly, then we could see them, we could see their stock price jumping up very high in the coming years. Now, some of the other things to look at here, they had an arbitration case with Qualcomm, which Qualcomm, you may be familiar with them. They make like the Snapdragon processors, things like that. and they won the case against them. And so they won $815 million. Well, as soon as that got announced, and it was very recent, and when that got announced, their stock went up 18% in just 2 days. Now, that $815 million is pretty big because they can use that money to buy more companies in the automotive sector that can help them, get even deeper into that. Or, they can buy other softwares or other products or, other companies and just get into other sectors and really just expand and keep growing. And I say this all the time, but it feels like every time that I read something about BlackBerry, it seems to always be good news. So I'm liking everything that's been going on with BlackBerry. And they actually have other cases against other companies. I know they have a case against Nokia. And if they win some of these other cases, then that could be even more money that they can bring in, which can also continue to help them grow. And then you could see BlackBerry, becoming profitable, very soon, in the coming years. So we could see their stock continue to rise. Now, one thing that does concern me a little bit, and it's kind of weird because a lot of analysts actually see this as a good thing, but I kind of see it as a bad thing, is their Key One phone. I'm not a big fan of their phone, and I know that that's really just my opinion, but I do have some reasons why I'm not such a huge fan about it and why I'm a little worried about it. Because this phone, BlackBerry keeps failing in the phone market. They keep doing bad in that market, and yet they're still releasing another phone, which I kind of feel like they should just either give up or change their whole model and their whole approach. But they're releasing another phone with a keyboard yet again, and that's really a niche market. I don't feel like a lot of people really want a keyboard. Now, maybe in the business world, maybe people want the keyboard. I don't really know too much about that market, but I know that the Samsung Galaxy phone and the LG G6, the upcoming iPhone, all these phones, all these new phones, they're increasing their screen size and getting smaller and smaller bezels, which means that they're really trying to increase their screen to body ratios. Now, if you add a freaking keyboard onto your phone, that is going to increase the body to screen ratio. Okay, so it's not going to be good for your screen to body ratio. So, when half of your phone is a keyboard. So I really don't see people being attracted to that phone. Now, that phone is getting good reviews. It's getting solid reviews, and a lot of people are saying, oh, BlackBerry is making a comeback in the phone market. I think it's bogus. I don't think BlackBerry's future is in the phone market, and that's what worries me. I kind of wish that they would just either give up on that or transition to something else. Just use a all screen, because I don't think people really care about the keyboard that much. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel. Now, that phone is releasing. In a report I read, it said that it was releasing on May 31st with a price target of $550, which is good, I guess, because it is a little cheaper than the other phones, like the Galaxies and the LG. Those are a lot more expensive. You can see some of those phones going at around $700 or $800. Well, the thing about the BlackBerry phone is that its processor is a 625 Snapdragon, so it's not even the most current Snapdragon processor. And the RAM is 3 gigabytes, which I guess is good, but if you think about it, a lot of these premium phones are coming out with 4 gigs of RAM. There's rumors of the new OnePlus 5 phone. That one is rumored to come out with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So 3 gigabytes of RAM is starting to look smaller and smaller every time that I look at phones. And it's really not future proof, and that's what worries me. So I'm not really liking this phone, to be honest. I can't imagine running into a random person out there who has this phone, and I can't imagine somebody, wanting to buy this phone unless you're a really business type of person and you just have to have a keyboard on your phone, but I don't know how realistic that is. Now, in their upcoming quarter, they're going to be releasing their earnings on June 23rd. So some of the things that I'm going to be looking at is going to be their lawsuits. I want to know how their lawsuits are going. I want to know if they're, how they feel about them. Do they think that they're going to win those lawsuits? And what are they going to do with money from the lawsuits? The $815 million, are they going to be acquiring more companies? What are their future plans? I want to know more about India. I think that is a bright future with India. I want them to talk about that. I also want to know more about the automotive sector. It looks like they're doing some great things there, and they're positioning for the self-driving future. So I want to hear about that. I want to hear what they're doing with that. And I also want them to talk a little bit about the phone because, I don't think it has a bright future, but I want to see what their opinion is. And, maybe I'm wrong, so I want them to tell me why I'm wrong and things like that. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope I covered everything. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe because I do stock reviews all the time. And anyway, I hope that you all have a wonderful, beautiful day. Take care. Sorry, guys, I forgot to say one last thing. I had to run back here and record it because I have to say this. Now, their price is a little high. So if you're looking at BlackBerry for the first time, they're at their 52-week high right now. So I would consider waiting a little bit. Hopefully the stock would drop a little bit and then that would be a good time to get in. I never really get into a stock when it's at its absolute highest. That's just a personal thing. I usually try to steer clear from that. But if you still want to jump in, I don't know, that's your choice. But I already have shares. I'm holding on to my shares. If the stock drops, then I'm going to consider buying more shares. But for right now, I'm just holding. I'm not buying any extra because right now it's a little bit high in my opinion. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because I didn't want to leave you guys, I didn't want to leave you guys in the cold there on that. So anyway, take care. Bye.